Welcome to Draft Week, guys. We are talking about the top 10 sleepers for fantasy football 2024, just pre-NFL draft here. I've got 10 big names here, including one rookie. I want to keep all rookies out, but I had to include one here because I think he could be very special, and I think the situation could be absolutely outstanding. So again, this is pre-NFL draft. Guys, I'm super excited. The draft is finally here, coming this week, and we're going to get through these rounds, and we're going to find out who's who, and the depth charts are going to fizzle out, and then we're going to know who to draft, the optimal players drafted in each round. So in this episode, though, top 10 sleepers, guys, pre-NFL draft, including one special rookie that I included there. You don't want to miss this show. Let's get to it. All right, guys, welcome. We're talking top 10 fantasy football sleepers for 2024. Before I get into this, guys, massive news. Secure your ticket to the Fantasy Sports Summit. We got Kyron Williams attending. We got Trey Benson. We got Tajay Spears, Rashid Shaheed, Frank Gore Jr., and Pat Fryermuth, the bald guy. Jimmy, I'm going to be there. We're doing a mock draft. We are doing interviews with these guys. We're talking to them, and you get a chance, potentially, if your question is creative enough, to ask questions for these guys at the end of each interview with these guys. It's going to be super exciting, guys. It's going to be a live, interactive, amazing live stream. Join the Fantasy Sports Summit, guys. Get your tickets for August. The tickets are limited. I can't guarantee you're going to get a seat, so that's why you got to book it now. And also, get the 16-round draft solution. You can get it as a combo. Sleepers, breakouts, auto players draft each draft. Now that the draft is done, I'm going to be releasing the first version of this in about 2 to 3 weeks. You're going to have the first version, and you're going to know who to draft. Your roster is going to be as close to bulletproof as possible. This is massive. The Summit, 16 rounds, massive. Secure your tickets below right now. All right, let's dive into this. Also, turn on the bell, smash thumbs up, and let me know in the comments, do you agree with these sleepers, okay? So smash that thumbs up. Smash it, tap it, slap it, turn on the bell. We're going hard here on the #1 fantasy football podcast, delivering on a high level, outside the box, no copy and paste. Turn on that bell, bell, subscribe. I saw that 70% of the analytics have not subscribed. In the analytics, 70% of people watching have not subscribed. Turn on the bell, subscribe. Let's dominate line mentality. First sleeper here for you. Let's dive in. All right, and let me know in the comments what you think. Let's make it interactive. Comments. First one is Tajay Spears. Ironically, well, not ironically, but he's going to be at the Fantasy Sports Summit. Okay, so, dude, I handpicked these guys coming to the summit. I really reached out to them and their agents and said, hey, I need these guys at the summit because there's so much upside. So Tajay Spears is one of them. The thing about it is he's amazing value, and he's the RB1 on his team. I don't care what people say. You could debate me. Pollard is not an RB1. He's never been an RB1. He is a true bona fide backup, pure and simple. He had his time to shine last year, looked mediocre at best. He had a ton of attempts, didn't do anything with them with Dallas, okay? So Pollard comes in, he gets paid handsomely, but I don't care. Let me give you guys the points here on why I like Tajay Spears, okay? He was behind Derrick Henry, the king. Nobody's superseding Derrick Henry in this generation right now. So if Derrick Henry's on a team, he's going to be a backup. So he was drafted with the intention to replace Derrick Henry. That was the intention. And he did well last year, considering he was behind Derrick Henry, who hoarded away 280 attempts. Derrick Henry did. He still managed Tajay Spears 100 attempts, guys. 100 attempts, just under 500 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry, a bunch of receptions. He is ready and primed to go. Now, some people are saying, well, Pollard comes in. I would rather have the depth of Pollard than the depth of a Saquon Barkley, the depth of a Josh Jacobs, or the depth of a new rookie running back that's fresh, like a Trey Benson, Blake Corum, or someone like that, come in and potentially be the starter, where we know Pollard's the backup. So I know what the coaches are saying. The offensive coordinator said, hey, man, it's going to be a 50-50 split. You got to draft according to kind of, that in the back of your mind, but I'm not going to put too much emphasis on that being, the Bible or whatever you believe in, okay? That's not, to me, going to stick. Tajay's the guy. And here's the cool thing about him. He's RB29, okay? And he's coming off rounds 7 to 8. I'm getting an RB1 round 7 to 8 with upside. That's amazing. And again, to solve this whole debate, Pollard was drafted by the Cowboys. He's no longer on the Cowboys now. drafted by the Cowboys in round 4 in 2019. He's 27 years old. Tajay is younger. He's 23, drafted in the 3rd round compared to 4th. There's a 1-round difference gap by the team that he's actually on. He knows the offense better. He's had a year behind one of the best running backs of all time in Derrick Henry. He's primed. He's a sleeper as well because people think Pollard is the one. And I'm telling you right now, he's not the one. Pollard sucks. I'm telling you straight up, Pollard sucks. Okay? Round 7-8 value, I'm making sure Tajay Spears is on my roster. I got RB1 there, okay? Second sleeper here. Let's keep going. Roll. Let me know what you guys think. Pollard, Tajay, make it interactive. I gave you guys my points on Tajay, though. Number 2, great position, RB31. So this guy, at the time of this recording, this is pre-NFL draft. This is going to change because a lot of these rookies that are below these guys are going to emerge. They're going to come up, all right? A lot of guys. Blake Corum, I said, Trey Benson, to name a few. Frank Gore Jr., who's also going to be at the Fantasy Sports Summit. Guys like that, depending on where they land, could really emerge, okay? Number 2 here is Zamir White. Listen, I like Zamir. He's in a great position to succeed. Okay, over 1,000. Over 1,000. I wish he had 1,000 yards last year. No, he didn't. He had 104 attempts, 4.3 yards per carry. He had a touchdown. He didn't really get going. He was behind Josh Jacobs. Obviously, there's a lot of volume that's going to be freed up. Again, similar. The reason I'm choosing these guys as a sleepers pre-NFL draft, there's other guys, but I think that other guys are going to be drafted and really take that spot, right? So I look at Zamir White. I'm like, this situation is probably going to be the same way it's going to be when the season starts. Zamir White, Raiders, RB31, 8 to 9 is average draft position. Again, at pre-NFL draft, okay? They brought in Madison. Madison sucks as well. Had the chance to be an RB1. Proved he was a backup, bona fide backup. Proved again, when he had the opportunity to shine, he didn't, just like Pollard. Zamir White did well, really well. Go look at his stats at the end of the season, getting a ton of volume, 20-plus attempts in several games. This guy was really emerging at the end of the season, and it's really good that they brought in Madison, out of all people, to add depth to him, but not be good enough to steal the job. Do you understand, guys? There's guys that come into situations that are good enough to be backups and add depth, but not good enough to take the job from the guys that are young, up and coming. And we saw it. We saw with Zamir White, he was acting as if he was the RB1. They know what they got in him. That's why they brought in Madison for depth, but they know what they got with Zamir White, and he's great value. Amazing value. We're talking rounds 8 to 9 at the time of this recording, pre-NFL, just the week of the NFL draft. Unless they bring in someone else, a rookie or something like that, the situation's good. Zamir White is an RB1. Now, you're saying, well, Joe, there's a ton of value at running back. Should we wait on running back? I'm going to explain that in 16 rounds, okay? Quick shot of water here. I'm going to explain all that. But I do still think it's important to get a running back round 1 because the guaranteed workhorses are going to be gone. They're just few and far between, all right? Let's keep moving along. Number 3 here. Tim and I just talked about it on yesterday's episode as a gold player. I think he's more of a sleeper. It's Khalil Shakir. Wide receiver, 61, 150 overall on the rankings at the time of this recording. I'm going to stop saying keep time of this recording because you guys know when it is. Round 12 is his ADP, who's sitting as the wide receiver 1. People are saying Curtis Samuel's the one, and his overall ADP is 130 compared to 150 with his, which is Khalil Shakir's. No, Curtis Samuel, years to wow us. We're not wowed. He absolutely sucks. Now, Khalil actually ended up showing some signs of like this guy could be good. He was a 5th-round pick by his team in his 3rd season. Give you some context, 6 foot, 190 pounds. He had some big yard weeks, including over 100 yards receiving. What was it? Week 11. I think he had 115 yards. Go back and check that. Big yard games, a couple of games. And he's got Josh Allen throwing to him. Okay, he's in a great situation where Curtis Samuel absolutely sucks. Khalil's young, he's dynamic, he's hungry, and could be the wide receiver 1. Now, I really believe that the Bills are going to draft a wide receiver in the round 1. They're saying that they're going to, mock drafts are showing that they're going to draft an edge. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting, but Khalil Shakir, the way that it sits right now, pre-NFL draft, great position. And even after the NFL draft, depending on what rookie they get, he still could be primed to get a ton of volume. Now, with Davis gone and Diggs gone, a lot of stuff opens up with Josh Allen. Someone's got to catch the ball. He's in a great situation, okay? Big time sleeper, 150th overall, round 12. Now, again, depending on the draft, everything is predicated on the draft. His round 12 ADP could come up 3 or 4 rounds very easily, depending on how that situation fizzles out, all right? Let's keep moving along here. Again, drop a comment, turn on the bell, secure your ticket to the Sports Summit if you guys have it, and grab 16 rounds. I'm going to keep plugging it because this is exciting. It's the ultimate fantasy experience. I know when I was getting into fantasy, I wish somebody put together a conference where I actually hang out with NFL athletes, have the opportunity to ask them questions, and automatically be entered for a PS5 and get fantasy analysis. I mean, it's a no-brainer, guys. Get the 16-round draft solution and the Summit comboed below. All right, number 4 here. Let's rip through it. Again, I can do a deep dive on all these, and I'm going to go as deep as I can here in this video. Too much to talk about. And the next guy is Romeo Doubs, okay? Sitting as a round 9 to 10 ADP guy, 115th overall. Now, here's what's attractive about Romeo Doubs, okay? Now, he was number 1 in targets last year at Green Bay. That's not the only thing here. They brought in Reed, who on the ADP is sitting higher, and on the depth chart, he's sitting, on the consensus depth chart. Everyone's saying that Reed's the guy, and that's very possible. But one thing that I want to note here with him in the playoff game, and I like to look at playoffs because that's when the rubber meets the road, right? Love relied on him a lot in that game. 12 targets, 10 receptions, a touchdown, and 234 yards receiving in the playoff game for Romeo Doubs. He was the man. When you look at targets in comparison, 12 targets compared to Reed's 7 targets and Christian Watson's 3 targets in the playoff game, if that is a sample size, an indication of who the wide receiver 1 is, I would say it's Doubs. But everyone's kind of got him sitting as the number 3. It's going to be very interesting, but I will tell you this. If you're going to roll the dice on a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3 or whatever it is that could potentially be the 1, and you're uncertain in regards to who the 1 is on that team, I'll give you an example, Ayuk and Debo, at the way that it sits now, then why invest those early 2nd or 3rd round picks on a guy that you're uncertain about when you can get yourself a Romeo Doubs round 9 and 10 and have that same level of uncertainty? Does that make sense? Nobody's talking about this stuff. They're just going off ADP. I just draft on consensus rankings, copy and paste. No, you got to start thinking. That's what I do in the 60-round draft session. I lay this out for you, and I omit guys that I feel are just a waste of a pick. Example, last year, I told you to avoid Higgins, right? T. Higgins round 2. I said, why are you drafting a wide receiver 2 on his team in the 2nd round, making him your wide receiver 1 on your fantasy team? Guys, you got to be really selective with your fantasy teams. I can't express this enough, okay? I warned you about Waddle. I warned you about J.K. Dobbins. I warned you about so many people. Tony Pollard not being a true RB1. I was the only one telling you not to draft Tony Pollard. That's the quality you guys get in 16 rounds because outside the box, I've done the research, all right? So Romeo Doubs, number 4. Let me know what you guys think. Who is the 1 in Green Bay? Your guess is as good as mine. Looks like Dobbs is the guy, but I like Jaden Reed just as much. Watson can't stay on the field, so I'm out on him, all right? Number 5 here, okay? Let's keep going with the sleepers. Christian Kirk, wide receiver 29, round 4 to 5 ADP. They brought in Gabe Davis, right? They got Zay Jones there. Now 136 targets are now freed up with Ridley gone, okay? Now you got to take a look here. Kirk has that rapport with his quarterback, and Lawrence has to have a bounce back year. He has to. All I'm saying with Kirk is that he is a wide receiver 1 at the time of this recording. I keep saying that. He is the wide receiver 1, and he's coming off in rounds 4 to 5. I mean, to me, that's decent value when everybody's going to be blowing their draft load on wide receivers round 1 and 2 and drafting guys that are guaranteed to be wide receiver 2s on their team in rounds 2 to 3, 4. You get this guy, rounds 1 to 3, you get this guy rounds 4 to 5, potentially. Christian Kirk got some upside there. And he's got that report in a year where the quarterback needs to bounce back. Had a terrible year last year. I don't have a lot of faith in Lawrence, but he has to bounce back, okay? Number 6, this is where the rookie comes in, all right? This guy is coming to the Fantasy Sports Summit. The rookie that I'm talking about, this is a sleeper, is Trey Benson. Well, Joe, why'd you throw in a rookie here? Why Trey Benson? What's the deal? Listen, there's a bunch of teams that actually need a running back almost like yesterday, immediately, is what I'm trying to say. Trey Benson is the top rookie prospect coming out of this draft. Now, there's Jonathan Brooks, but he's coming off a knee surgery, but I think he's be good to go. They got Blake Corum. There's a bunch of great guys coming out of this draft, including Franco Jr., who's also going to be at the Sports Summit. But Trey Benson, on paper, 6'1", 211, prototypical running back. He is slated as the first running back off the board, probably coming off in round 2. And I'm hoping he ends up on the Cowboys. There's a chance he ends up on the Panthers. I think they got a bunch of early picks in round 2. Cowboys got to pull the trigger on him and grab him. They need to grab him. They need to secure Trey Benson. This guy is great talent, great vision. He's got that breakaway speed. He looked good. He ran like a 4.39 in college, 5.8 yards per carry his last year, had over 6 yards per carry the year before, 14 touchdowns last year as well. At the time of this recording, his ADP is going to shoot up. He's sitting as RB 46. Guys, this guy, I'm telling you, even though it depends on where he lands, I still think he's going to be great value. I find that Kashif tends to sleep on rookies. He's a top rookie prospect coming out. He's not going to be drafted like a first round like guys like Gibbs and Bijan did last year, but he's still going to be immense value. Trey Benson, love the talent, love the opportunity. Out of Florida, top rookie prospect coming out of this draft, and I hope he ends up being a Cowboy because they definitely need help. Now, they just signed Royce Freeman. They got Rico Dowell. They got Deuce Vaughn. Anybody ending up in that committee is going to be the RB1. Trey Benson is going to be the man. Hope he's a Cowboy or a Charger. Actually, Chargers, I don't want him to be a Charger. Sorry, I take that back when I said Chargers. They're a disaster right now. They got Dobbins. If he's healthy, he's viable, which I doubt he's going to be healthy. They got Gus Bus. It's a disaster. Hope he's not a Charger. Hope he's a Cowboy. And there's other teams that need a running back. Okay. Number 7. Okay. I'm not exactly giddy about all these guys. I'm not necessarily drafting all these guys, but they are sleepers. They're great value and they're in a great situation to succeed. Number 7. This guy doesn't get me excited, but let me explain. Let me tell you something. Deontay Johnson is my number 7. He's in a situation where he's with Adam Thielen, who's like 100 years old. I think he's going to be like 30. I think he's 33 going on like 100. Adam Thielen is there. He was a top target guy last year in a situation where we have another desperate quarterback. Guys, when I talk about desperate quarterback, it means Bryce Young has to do something. He has to. His reputation, his career is on the line. He had a bad year last year. He had a terrible touchdown to interception ratio. He just threw what he had. He had 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Bryce Young did just under 3,000 yards. He had 28.77 in regards to passing yards. Bryce Young needs to do something. They brought in the weapons to help him. Now, I don't know what they're going to do at running back. I'm not sure if Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders are the solution there. Hopefully they're viable enough not to bring in a Trey Benson and try to mess up his career. But here's the thing. Deontay Johnson is set to get the volume. He is young. Not really that young, but he's young enough, right? How old is he? 26, 27, 28, something like that. Listen, Deontay's still young enough, dynamic enough. They're younger than Thielen by like 4 or 5 years. He's going to get it done. Someone's got to catch the ball. They also got who they got? Chark there, Mingo, guys that, years to wow us. Mingo, not so much, but Chark and Thielen were not wow. Thielen lost his job to Jefferson. I won't even say anything bad, but he sucks. But I'll tell you right now, man, Deontay Johnson, a wide receiver 1 on a team that is desperate to do something this year. They got to improve the O-line. They got to make a lot of adjustments. Got to see what they do in the draft. But he's a round 7, number 85 overall, Deontay Johnson. And all I'm saying here is that there's so many wide receiver ones you can get later that have, the value that could be very viable targets, okay? Guys like Kirk, guys like Dobbs, guys like, all these guys are sitting as the wide receiver 1 potentially, and you can get for immense value, round 7 here for a wide receiver 1. And I'm telling you, there's a ton of depth. Going back to that conversation, you can wait on Zamir White and Tajay Spears, but they're a little bit more of a gamble. There's so many more wide receiver 1s that you can get later and just stash your team with like 5 or 6 of them, and then 1 or 2 are going to emerge. They're going to fill your wide receiver spot nicely, okay? Not to mention all the rookies that are going to come in that are going to be decent value as well, ending up in potentially great situations, okay? Number 7, Deontay. Moving on to number 8, round 6 to 7 ADP is Javonte Williams. He's in there with Jaleel McLaughlin. They obviously have situations with wide receiver. They don't have a wide receiver. Sutton's there. He's already kind of threatening to hold out. But Javonte, RB24, round 6 to 7 ADP for a guy that is a running back 1, who is desperate. Now, he's 2 years removed off his knee surgery. He is desperate to do something this year. They have to do something this year. I know the team is a little bit dismantled. I get it. But from a volume perspective, from a goal line work perspective, Javonte has to do something. He is not exciting. As an RB3, 4 on my team, great. And he's an RB1 on his team. Does that make sense? On my team, he's going to be a 3-4. On their team, he's going to be a 1. So I'm aiming high on the depth chart, but he doesn't have to be my first option. Does that make sense? So Javonte has to do something. He's a big-time sleeper based on value. He's an RB1 on his team. Must make or break year for him. RB24, round 6 to 7. Good value for potential RB1 if you need one, if you're in a crunch in those rounds, okay? 2 more guys here again. Smash it, tap it, slap it. Hit the thumbs up. Guys, let's get excited. If you're excited about fantasy, smash the thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Let me know. Do you guys think these are good sleepers? Drop a sleeper of your choice. And guys, make sure you guys get 16 odds. I'm going to keep plugging it because I'm passionate about it. And I've got the formula for you guys to win. Let's get it. I'm also going to be doing direct consulting this year. It's on my website, direct coaching. You can book a call with me, direct coaching at thefantasyfootballaccounts.com. There's a heading there, direct coaching. We set up a phone call. We talk. I walk you through anything you need, guys, for fantasy and your drafts. You can talk to me direct, okay? Let's do it. All right, number 9 here. Lackluster, not exciting. Am I going to be drafting him? Not necessarily, but I will tell you he's great value is Najee Harris. Now, Najee Harris finished 23rd in PPR last year, round 7 ADP, okay, 84 overall. The guy still managed 4.1 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, and 255 attempts. Warren came in, hoarded away 149 attempts, okay, and a ton of receptions and targets, okay? Now, Najee still had 38 some odd attempts, targets, on top of the 255 attempts. His rookie year, he had over, I think, 300 attempts, 1,200 yards. So he did lose a lot in the receiving game due to Jaylen Warren. Now, Najee has to do something. The guy wants to get, if he wants to get paid and stay in the league, he's got to do something. If you look at the end of last year, he was running with a little more pep in his step. The team is upgraded at quarterback. Now, mind you, could say upgrade, downgrade, whatever it is. You could say washed up quarterbacks are in there, whatever it is. But, when you look at a guy like Russell, he's kind of at the desperation mode as well. He wants to kind of end off his career, in a positive light, right? So I think the situation is going to be decent when it comes to quarterback, coaching. Tomlin likes to use his workhorse running back. Warren will be used a lot more this year. There's going to be committees everywhere. But for a guy who's going to get 250 plus attempts for a good value, round 6 to 7 ADP, more around round 7 at the time of this recording, that's not bad. Pre-NFL draft here. We're going to see what they're going to do. But I think similarly, I think it's settled and the thing with these guys, I think it's settled for the most part with running backs. So that's why I'm saying that they're good value, because they may not be drafting a rookie. I think Javonte's the guy. I think Najee's the guy. I think Zamir White is the guy. I think Taji's the guy. They're settled, right? So based on the way that they're settled, I think they're great value and they still could emerge or just do really, really well. So Najee at number 9, big time sleeper, ADP 84, good value, okay? Last one here, round 5, who's a wide receiver 1, Calvin Ridley. Now, he's obviously there with Hopkins, who's over the hill. Ridley's 29. He signed him, what is it, 4-year, $92 million? I can't remember. Go look up his contract here. But he's a round 5 fantasy pick. All right. Levis was a second round. But let's talk about Levis here. It looks like the Titans are going to believe in him and roll with him. He was a second round pick last year. Had that one game when it was like debut. I think it was like, I don't know, week 9 or something. He came out and had like 4 touchdowns. If we could see that Will Levis, we got some upside here. Calvin Ridley, guys, is a good player. He just didn't get the volume he was supposed to get last year. He still managed to get over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 76 receptions. He did okay in a really down year for Lawrence. Now he's in an opportunity with a young quarterback, make or break, dynamic. They got the running game with Tajay. I think it's going to be a good situation. I think the entire Titans team is slept on. Even I would say Levis is a sleeper as well. Not as your starting quarterback, but as a backup or as a second quarterback or a third quarterback for depth in a 2-quarterback league. Guys, I think the Titans are being slept on. I think they're going to be better than people expect. And I think Calvin Ridley, they're giving Levis the weapons. They're giving him the opportunity I think Calvin Ridley is going to be great value. Round 5 for a wide receiver 1. It's a no-brainer, right? Let's recap here these sleepers. We got Tajay Spears, Zamir White, great situations. Khalil Shakir, great situations. Romeo Doubs, Christian Kirk, Trey Benson, gonna hopefully ends up on a good team, including like the Cowboys. Deontay Johnson, Javonte Williams, Najee Harris, and Calvin Ridley, all great value, and are wide receivers or RB1s on their team and are primed in situations where they have to perform. They got to do something this year, right? Those are some sleepers here. I can't wait for the draft, guys. Turn on the bell, smash thumbs up, super excited, and go secure your ticket to the Sports Summit. Have a chance to actually interact with guys like Kyron Williams, Trey Benson, and many, many more. All right? I appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. And 16 rounds, man. Pre-order right now. I'm going to be launching that as well. And let me know below. Comments. What do you guys think? Sleepers. Who do you have as a sleeper? Love to make it interactive. We'll talk soon, guys. Fantasy football is back. I'm out.